Hi, this is the video for the concentration of hydrochloric acid experiment. So what I have in terms of materials is I have my balance, I have a hot plate, I have my hydrochloric acid, which says a question mark on the label for the concentration, because that is what you're figuring out, that is your aim. And then I have what we call marble chips, which are calcium carbonate. All right, and then obviously any other things I'm going to need to measure. So I've got a graduated cylinder, and then I've got my wash bottle. Okay, so it says 1 mass a clean, dry 150 milliliter beaker and record. So here's my beaker. I just cleaned it. So I'm going to make sure my balance is at 0. And the mass of this is 65.62 grams. 65.62 grams. Make sure you record that. Make a nice, neat data table. You're going to have a few masses, and you're also going to have a volume. All right, then it says add 4 or 5 marble chips and mask the beaker with the chips. So I'm just going to pour a few in here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so 4 of the little marble chips. And then together, we've got 66.23 grams. So the beaker plus the marble chips is 66.23 grams. All right, now this is going to react, these marble chips, this calcium carbonate is going to react with the hydrochloric acid. So we need to measure out a known volume of this. So the directions say to do between 40 and 70 milliliters. So if I get eye level, I just have to get over 40. And then record what it is. All right, so because my graduated cylinder reads every 1 milliliter, I'm going to carry it 1 digit past for my estimate that I'm going to record. So let's see, this is above 41. I'm going to say 41.3 milliliters. So 41.3 milliliters. All right, so we're going to add this to our marble chips. Calcium carbonate. Okay, and I'll bring this up closer for you. I don't know if you can see. There are a few bubbles on there. Kind of hard to get a good. All right. So what I can see is there's a few bubbles. Let me see if I can turn this a little bit. You see the bubbles coming up. So that's the carbon dioxide gas, because that's one of the products. But this will take a little while, so we're going to speed it up. We're going to put it on the balance. It is not going to boil. We're not going to evaporate any of the water from the solution, but we want to speed this up. So what will happen on here is those little, you saw a few bubbles at a time. You're going to see a whole bunch coming off of the rocks, and I'm going to make sure it's not too hot so that it doesn't boil, but I'm just going to speed it up. So I'm going to pause this, and I'll come back when it's done reacting. See you in a bit. All right, I'm back, and we have the reaction that is done. So the bubbles have stopped coming off the calcium carbonate rocks. So I'm going to turn my hot plate off, and now I need to decant. So I'm going to pour it into another beaker just in case. But remember, decanting is taking in the liquid and pouring it off. And then I'm going to rinse the marble chips with distilled water. So I'm going to pour it in here. This one's a pretty easy one to decant because the pieces are so big that it's hard for them to kind of just fall out, and it's also easy for me to put them back in if they dip. So now I'm going to rinse with distilled water and kind of get the whole beaker. Okay, and then I'm going to decant again. And I can see some of the calcium carbonate that came off of the marble chips. Trying to get that all to pour out. That has reacted. There we go. All right, and now I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it in the oven where the water will evaporate that's in here, and we'll have the dry marble chips, so we can find the mass of how much reacted based on the starting value of the marble chips in the beaker and the ending mass because we should have lost some mass from this marble chips reacting. So I will put that mass in the comments section in the YouTube video, but it will also be, for my students in class, it will also be in the Schoology link. It will be on that page as well. So let me know if you have any questions with the lab.